Devin Haney, his last fight against Ryan Garcia, you know, I mean, you've been in there with him twice, so we can talk to you about high-level shit because you've fought him. He's got a tricky fight coming up against Ramirez. You know, I mean, you've done some sparring with Ramirez in the past. You've been in the ring with him. I think this fight's at 144. I'm not sure the exact weight. How's Devin going to be in this fight? It's a tricky fight coming back mentally, you know, obviously against the Ryan Garcia and all the bullshit that went down there. How do you see that fight playing out?
Yeah, look, it's a good fight. I think Devin's going to be, he'll be at his best. I think the weight, and that's no disrespect to Jose. I really like Jose Ramirez. We did work years and years ago, and he's a really good guy, family man. But I think Devin's got a lot to prove, and I think he's going to showcase in this fight. I think he's got his back against the wall. When Jose Ramirez does as well, I think it both is on the line, a lot on the line for both guys. But I think Devin's just going to be a little bit sharper, a little bit crisper, and I think a unanimous, shutout. I think in that fight. I think what we saw in Jose in the last fight with Barboza, he just looked little bit battle torn, and we saw with the Josh Taylor fight, very good fighter. He had a great road, to winning a couple of belts, but I think Devin has a lot to prove.
Ryan Garcia versus Roland Romero, I think that fight's up at 47, I think, or around about that weight. No one really sort of knows what the weights are, you know what I mean? Rolly probably hasn't lived up to what I think PBC and that thought he was 2 or 3 years ago. A bit of a tricky customer, he got smacked out by Isaac Cruz. I thought in his last fight he looked pretty average as well. Your thoughts on that fight? And is that one of the fights where Ryan
will knock him out early? I think within 4 rounds, he'll knock him out. I think, the size difference is going to be a big size difference. The weight, you can tell that Ryan's getting bigger and bigger, and I think he's going to be too fast, too explosive, and Rolly's not fast at all, too flat-footed, and I don't think he's going to be able to, see them shots coming. He gets hit, and we've seen it. He gets hit, and he gets put away.
With these 3 fights, and then we'll get to Teo Barboza, and I want to ask about Teofimo. You beat Hitchins in your next fight. If Teo was to lose or to win, is there a segment there that you think Teo might stay at 140 and wants to get his lick back against you? That's one part question that I've got.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think the whole plan, the whole reasoning of this whole fight, and the way it's been put together, and the way we're thinking as well is win that belt. That's my biggest focus, motivation is winning that belt, become a 2-division champion. But I think me and Lopez...
Unified world title?
I beat him already. Now, if he's got the balls to make it happen, I'm all in. I think the world will stop to watch that fight. I think there's a lot of bad blood. I think there's a lot... he wants to make some money from the fight. I think there's a lot of money to be made in that fight. And, I think it's a hell of a fight. Back to, that bad blood. Kambosos Lopez, number 2. So, I've got a job first. He's got a job to do, and... tell you this, Kambosos versus Lopez rematch number 2 is 1 trillion times bigger than Lopez versus Hitchins. Put it this way.
You reckon?
Anywhere in the world. Anywhere.
Yeah.
New York, Brooklyn, in the Bronx, wherever. In Hitchins, 1 bedroom, little apartment, you'll fill it out. Kambosos, Lopez. Or you have Lopez, Hitchins, you probably put 3 people in his little apartment.
Do you think if you asked Teofimo, he'd agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think, I talk straight facts. I say it the way it is, and I think it's a fight that it was a hell of a fight of the year in 2021. And I get so many people still every day messaging me about that fight. What a fight! Rewatched it, and a lot of people are so excited that I'm going back to, that same focus, that same, place where, my back is against the wall. Against all odds again. So, I think if we did it again, I think he would agree as well. It'd be mega. And we could do it in Australia, we'd do 40, 50,000. I'm sure he'd love that. I'm sure he'd love dancing to the ring in front of 40, 50,000.
Because it has to be on your terms, wouldn't it have to be? If you beat Hitchins,
especially
and he beats Barboza...
When I beat Hitchins, not if. When I beat Hitchins, it's on my terms. And it still is always been on my terms.
He's spoken
like it or not, I beat him and beat him bad.
he's spoken a lot about he wants to fight Crawford and he wants to fight at 147. You know, I mean, people have spoken about, you know, maybe if he fought Ennis or Brian Norman. Do you really think him and his father are thinking about 47?
Whatever, that doesn't bother me. You know, like I said, whatever he wants to do, that's cool. But like I said, Kambosos Lopez rematch is bigger than any fight against anybody he fights and against anyone that I fight, to be honest. That is the biggest fight and probably the biggest fight in the world. And when you put me and him in a rematch with that build-up, and again, this build-up between me and Hitchins is going to be very big. It's already massive. It's already going to be do huge numbers. And yeah, we'll see. Whatever they want to do, whatever we decide to do, my focus is winning this IBF world title.
It's kind of cliche. 2021, after your fight, Tank Davis fought Zach Cruz. He's fighting around about the same time against Lamont Roach in a rematch. I think you were vocal on Twitter around the first fight. You know, Tanky, you're not as good as you think you are, and you thought that Lamont Roach beat him in the first fight, or did you think
the
it was
fight
close?
with Roach now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, in the first fight.
Yeah. I feel like Roach, should have got the decision, or was very, very close. But I feel that my biggest thing was, you can't turn around, you can't go to get your corner to wipe your face. Then in the Jake Wiley fight in round 9, when I was cruising from 1 to 8, picking him apart, in round 9 when I got aggravated by the cut straight into my eyes and the blood, I should have went to my corner, hey, wipe me up a little bit, put some Vaseline in there a little bit and come back, and would have not had a knockdown or anything. If that's the way we can do, then obviously that's the facts, then everyone would do it. A lot of people would do it. So that was my biggest thing about it was, you can't turn and it should have been a knockdown. Now, if that's a 10-8 round, Lamont wins.
Who wins the rematch? You think Tank's got to prove to the world to be obviously very, very convincing, or do we see the Tank of old and he stays patient and knocks this guy out? What does Tank need to do? A lot of pressure on him.
I think Tank will be a lot more busier, but I think, again, that could fall into Lamont's game plan. But again, Lamont has felt his power, but did he feel all of the power? Did he feel like combinations coming at him constantly? Maybe not. He looked very one punch, two punch that whole fight. So we're gonna have to wait and see. It's, to me, honestly, I look at it that Gervonta will either knock him out or Lamont will get this on points. That's how I see it.